Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Conversations with Coaches podcasts. Already having a good time being silly and looking for rogue record buttons and whatnot. I have already had the pleasure, and you're about to have the pleasure, of speaking with Marten Niner. Marten is an accomplished executive, serial entrepreneur, and ICF certified professional coach with extensive sales, marketing, operations, and leadership development expertise in a truly broad range of Fortune 100 startup businesses, including, and let me list the industries he's involved in: aerospace, military, manufacturing, construction, IT, environmental chemicals. And I'm sure that list can go on. Marten, thank you for being on the podcast. You are a man of many experiences, both with breadth and depth. So I'm really excited to have you here for far too short of a time today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Let's begin at the beginning. Let's talk about your superhero origin story as a coach. How did you get your start? And not just like as a coach with their own business, but how did you first discover or realize or become a coach? And then how did that turn into the business you have today?
Well, probably 8 years ago, 2014, I was struggling. I was struggling with businesses. I've always had multiple businesses going on at one time, a very robust family life. And that was all falling apart. Was in the middle of a divorce. One of the larger companies was really struggling, and I was just working and really not getting any traction. Even though, I'm 60, 70 hours a week, I was very type A personality. And through divine intervention, I was smart enough to hire two coaches. And that story is for another time, but it was just an amazing set of coincidences that got me to these two amazing ladies, Dr. Marie Lescavio and her business partner, Laura Hahn. And they changed my world. In 6 months, I still had all the same problems, but I was approaching them in such a different mindset, so much more positive, to the point where I was really able to ignite a new relationship with my now ex-wife and become friends and start on down a new path. Now, fast forward 4 years later, these coaches said, "You know what? You'd be really good at this. You should try it." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. Getting a coaching certification sounds like I don't know if I have that kind of time." And long story short, thank goodness I did it. And then once I did, the universe parted, and I've had some amazing opportunities to be a coach with them and do consulting and coaching on my own as well. And it's just been a joy compared to the rest of my business experience.
It's fantastic. I love. In my head, I have this analogy that formed because you were talking, and I feel like I know I resonate with this a lot. Where you are grinding. You are doing.
Oh, yeah.
You're good at what you do, and you're doing it to the best of your ability as much as possible, and your wheels are spinning and you are getting nowhere. I can almost, in my head, I can hear the revving of like a big like V8 engine just grinding in the mud or grinding in the snow and just not getting anywhere, maybe sliding dangerously the wrong direction, as a matter of fact. But then sometimes all you have to do, maybe you get a hand, maybe you get somebody who has a 2x4 and you stick it in the right place, you get just a little bit of traction. Just a little bit of traction. And all of a sudden, much less force starts to get you up out of that hole. And before you know it, you're on the road again and maybe going somewhere you didn't see. It's like, obviously I'm getting a little bit poetical about it, but that's how I heard the revving of the engine as you were talking and describing your situation. And like my heart.
That's a great way to describe it, because that's what it felt like. It was just a buzzing. And then like one of your previous coaches said, I got hit by a velvet 2x4, I think is one of their favorite phrases.
That's great. Greg Ward.
Greg Ward, yes. And they changed my life in such a positive way. And then now I'm doing that for other people. And there's just nothing I've sold, nothing I've done, and none of the vast experience that I have can compare to sharing this knowledge and this way of life that I have learned from my coaches, and seeing it have a huge impact on their lives very quickly. And then I get to develop these long-term relationships with these people. And as coach and coachee, or just people, we discuss so many things that these people that we don't even really discuss with spouses. I do, but they don't really. And so we become deeper, a deep relationship because of knowing each other. And in our coaching, we go very deep. It's really all about how to find true awareness, how to get through the what we call ego defenses, that arguing voice in the head that keeps us going and going and going. And we go very deep into why that is, how it came about, and how to unpack it. And it's a fantastic journey.
It really is. And it's exceedingly rare. And as I go through life, I find it to be even more so exceedingly rare when you can have an experience in life that is both immensely and immediately gratifying in a profound way, and also continues to deliver weeks, months, years down the road, and not just like deliver in the same way. It deepens and grows, and it seems so rare to find an experience or a kind of relationship with someone that works that way. And it's so lovely, and it's so enriching and rewarding. And I love and this, you have this in common with pretty much every coach I talk to, is that feeling of finally being able to give something back, to really be like, you know what, this changed my life. And I get to do the same for someone else. And I get to be there when it happens. And I get to check in with them and see them years down the road and see the effect that I had. It's both grounding and uplifting at the same time. Again, I'm speaking in paradoxes. It's just something that I find so consistently lovely about coaching.
Well, and we live in paradox. That's I think a foundation of coaching is that these ego defenses that we have, these voices live in paradox, and it's very difficult sometimes. At least it was my experience to know what was true and what wasn't, and so to be able to quiet those and make friends with those ego defenses, and really be able to sit in true awareness. It opens up a whole new world of information that I personally just didn't have access to before. And then to be able to share that, and then see that those people are sharing it with their kids, and those people, and they're all leaders. So they're sharing it with the people that are around them, both their leaders and, the people that follow them. And so this, my coaches, the reason that they do it is because they believe that this is the most profound way to change the world. And you do it through business, and you do it through leaders in the business. And so I think that's what we focus on. And it's so gratifying to see it.
Yeah. You find a gap, you find where something's missing, and you move into it with service. I just, it's a pretty simple formula, but I find that it changes the world. It's, that Archimedes lever. It's the lever that can truly change the world. And it's one of the things I get so passionate about. I'll start gushing on the podcast offline about how much I love the coaching business. I've been just an ancillary, contributor part of it with this podcast and some other stuff for just a few years now. And I'm on a daily basis, not exaggerating, amazed and delighted by the contribution that coaching is bringing to society. And it's because it touches everybody. That's one thing that I've seen change even over the past couple of years, but certainly over the last 5, 10, 20, is how many people and how much more people recognize not just the existence of coaching for particular areas of life, like career or executive or relationship or really any kind, but also, quite frankly, the necessity of it. I've been kind of starting to think of it as almost like a new definition of continuing education. We spend all this early lives in formal education, then we're like, okay,
then here you go.
Here you go. Like, really? I think
right.
I could use some help learning some things still.
Absolutely. And I'm with you. I love to see other coaches. I have several groups that I'm with that basically are coaches coaching coaches. So if there's coaches out there who run into something that they've never run into before, or they're having difficulty, we have a network of very experienced, seasoned, not only coaches, but doctors, psychiatrists, that kind of thing, to help not just the people, but the people who are helping the people, because we can't do it by ourselves. There's no coach out there that has the magic bullet. It's a team effort to help everybody that we can.
Yeah, every good coach I know has a coach, or at the very least, they're maybe in between coaches, or are
right.
Another coach is like maybe their coach has moved to another country or something like that, or retired and they're looking for another coach. Every coach I know has a coach, every single one. Quite frankly, I think it's a good mark of someone who is practicing what they preach.
I would agree. And I would agree. And, I think we all teach what we need to learn and learn what we need to teach in coaching.
Mm.
And so as we're learning, we're teaching, and we get just as much benefit from the person that's across from us, whether it's individual, whether it's groups, as they do from us. And so it's just a compounding synergistic effect that I've never seen or never experienced anywhere else.
Yeah, man, I can talk this high level stuff with you all day.
All day. I know, me too.
But I want to make sure we spend at least a little while talking about the nuts and bolts of your coaching practice. And the way I've kind of stumbled into asking this question that kind of captures everything, I think, is who do you coach and how do you coach them? So, like one-to-one group coaching, courses, et cetera. Do you specialize in certain industries or levels in a career or what? So yeah, who do you coach? How do you coach them these days?
So my coaching is varied. I have people that are one or two people in a company that are trying to grow. I also coach leaders that are in large corporations, whether they're operations manager or general manager of a plant. A lot of it is in manufacturing, but I've got clients in education. I've got clients in accounting and bookkeeping, and I think because my work and entrepreneurship was so broad, and I worked everything from janitor to bookkeeper to CEO. I did it all, and then trained the people to come in and replace me so I could go learn something new. I have a lot of experience, and mostly of what not to do, but some experience of what to do. But I get to share that knowledge, both what to do, and this has been in my experience. Maybe you shouldn't do this because this is what happened to me, kind of thing. So it's that's really, like I said, it's so varied, but all of them are leaders. And that's really who I'm looking to is, and even people who maybe only have one or two people in their company are still leaders. They have children, they have people around them, and so it's teaching them and learning with them to become the type of people that they're looking to become.
It really is. I was going to say amazing, but it's amazing how often I use the word amazing. I actually, it actually is legitimately interesting how little is required from a coach to have that profound impact. It really is a matter of guidance. It's just like, you might want to watch out for that, or this is something that most people don't see for themselves and have to make this mistake before they learn from it. I'm going to give you a heads up. And this is one thing that almost everybody does that they shouldn't. And here's why. And so they can see it and they can avoid it. And it saves them heartache. It saves them hours, maybe weeks, maybe months, maybe years of stumbling down the wrong path. And it's amazing how just like, it's almost like the perfect spice, just a little bit of guidance from the right person in the right way at the right time. And it just makes a truly, truly profound difference. You almost shake your head. It's like, I think I've called it uncommon. I've called it common sense with uncommon results.
Yes, and you can see a lot of most of the clients that come to me are in some type of misery. They're really struggling about something, having trouble sleeping. They're having relationship issues, whether it's personal or within work, and to be able to see someone go from that pain and struggle to success and understanding, and knowing that they won't ever have to experience that struggle again, or if they do, it's going to be a much smaller effect. And you're exactly right. There's very few things I've found more satisfying and more enriching than being able to pass that information on, whether it's large or small, and seeing the results. I mean, that's really where it's at.
I love it. I'm looking at the clock. This is my number one job as a podcast host for this podcast in particular, because I'm talking to
keep it in time. I get you.
Keeping the time. And let me I'll compliment you, but I'm also complimenting everyone I've talked to. If I were to go into a lab and invent the ideal podcast guest, I'd call it a coach. It'd be a coach. Strong sense of their own personal journey. Yep. Able to articulate it not only in their own words, but in some ways other people can understand and do something with. Good emotional intelligence, a systems thinker, but also very adept and agile. I mean, come on. All I have to do is just throw a question out there. I can just sit back.
I think you're right. I think all the coaches that I've met and interacted with, they're all doing the work on themselves, and that's what makes them good coaches. The few folks that I've heard on this podcast, they all put in the work. They've all had tough times. They've all had things that have happened to them that got them into this business. And, that's I don't know. So it's pretty cool.
It's pretty, I mean, it is that simple. It is pretty cool. Everybody's glad to be here. Everybody's committed. Everybody's doing the hard work and having a good time. It's, we're making it sound like a paradise. And, of course, there's bumps all along the way on every road, but
of course,
I'll let all you in a little secret. It is pretty great. It is pretty great. I got to tell you. Before I let you go, because I know I have to, and I want to, if people want to find out more about you, where can they do that? And if people want to get to know you and maybe connect with you, where can they best do that?
So my website is yesismorefun.com. It's a dual website. I have a band, and that's one of our songs is Yes is More Fun. But it's also where folks can get a hold of me, and it's easy to remember. And also on LinkedIn, my profile, Marten Niner, Marten, Niner like a 49er. Look me up. I'm the only one in there with an E. And I offer my first hour is free. So love to just talk to people, get to know people. And like I said, I have a network of coaches. So if I'm not the right coach, and sometimes I'm not, I know somebody who is, and that's a pretty cool place to be.
That's another thing that I love about the coaching industry and the coaching business is it's very collegial. It's maybe a 25-cent word where it's just everybody's looking out for everybody else. Everybody understands like there's a right fit for you. It might not be me, but I guarantee you I'm going to know someone who might be. And exactly. It's so everyone. I often find myself returning to the analogy of a rising tide raises all boats. And that's really what it feels like in the coaching industry. I love being a part of it. I already love that you're a part of it. It has been great to get to talk with you. I am almost certain that I'm going to start knocking on your inbox at some point in the future to come back for a part 2 so we can do some more fun, high-level stuff, maybe with more specific topics.
Love to. Yes. Love to talk. Doing a talk on Friday about power versus force, and it's based on the works of Dr. David Hawkins. Fun stuff. You would love it.
Do you post about that kind of stuff on LinkedIn?
I do. Yes.
Good. I find myself there so much more often these days. So it's pretty much my social media of choice to actually have a positive experience and learn things and make good relationships happen.
Yes, I've been exploring it probably for the past 6 months, and I like it a lot more than other social medias that I have explored. So I'm with you. I really enjoy it, and I definitely the level of people that I'm meeting through that medium has just been phenomenal.
Awesome. Well, Marten, thank you again. This has been fun. Hence, flew right by. But yeah, we'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure.
All right. Thank you. I really appreciate it.